Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel called Ek Kitab Se Ek Moti, which in English means one gem or a pearl from one book. Today I'm going to read a few paragraphs from the book titled CS Speaks. It has been published by the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and it is a collection of articles by the late Bharat Ratna C. Subramaniam ji. Before I read the passages that I have selected for today, let me just briefly read about Mr. Subramaniam. There is a brief biography of his on the flap of this book here. Let me just read it out for you. C. Subramaniam, Chidambaram Subramaniam was a patriot, statesman and thinker. He was deeply involved in India's freedom movement and played a significant role in the development of independent India. As the father of India's Green Revolution, he is hailed as one of the greatest achievers of modern India. His responsibilities and achievements covered a wide spectrum: agriculture, finance, education, science and technology, steel, heavy industries, planning, and national defense. Sri C. Subramaniam was closely associated with the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan for many decades and was its worldwide president for about a decade till he passed away in 2000. He was accorded the country's highest civilian honor of Bharat Ratna. Now, the portion that I'm going to read from this book is actually an unfoldment or unpacking of a mantra from the Chandogya Upanishad. So let me read those paragraphs now. The philosophy which enables a person to rise above his individuality and sustain him in the field of public activity is called yoga by the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna exhorted Arjuna to be a yogi to ensure the happiness and welfare of millions of people. What is the nature of yoga? The Gita says, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is efficiency in action. In the Chandogya Upanishad, efficiency is defined in a beautiful passage. Yadeva vidyaya karoti shraddhaya upanishada tadeva viryavattaram bhavati. Whatsoever is done with knowledge, with conviction, that is faith, and with deep thinking, that alone becomes supremely efficient. The first component of efficiency is vidya. Now, I pronounced it as component. Many pronounce it as component, but the standard pronunciation of this word is component. So the stress is on the second syllable, component. So component. The first component of efficiency is vidya, knowledge of things or the technical know-how of a particular subject. Then comes shraddha, that is faith in oneself and in the cause for which one is working. Last comes Upanishad, that is deep thinking about a subject so that you can get the best out of it. Vidya, Shraddha, and Upanishad. These three things are necessary to increase efficiency in any particular field. Shraddha is very important. In India, this want of shraddha or the loss of seriousness has given rise to a cynical attitude in public life. At everything of value we scoff. Such cynicism is worse than death. Finally, one must cultivate Upanishad or thoughtfulness. Man progresses through thinking, and all cultures are products of thought. All modern cultures are the products of profound scientific, social, and political thinking. Therefore, less talk, more thinking, and more work should be then the motto of all in public life. Swami Vivekananda also called for less talk and more work, which alone can elevate the nation. By talking less, we stimulate thinking on the one hand and action on the other. Unfortunately, what we observe these days in public life is exactly the opposite. I think this point is pertinent to the current political atmosphere in our country, where there is more talk among all parties, the leaders of almost every party, they just talk, talk, and talk. So this line is very pertinent to the current situation. Let me quote that. Therefore, less talk, more thinking, and more work should be then the motto of all in public life. So let me just unpack these concepts a bit. So, what this mantra from the Upanishad says is that for any activity, for any action to be supremely efficient, it must have three attributes. One is vidya, that is, we need to have the know-how for that activity or task, that is, one should have the knowledge and skill required to do that job or task correctly. The second attribute is shraddha or faith. So one should have belief in oneself, in others, belief in one's organization, and belief in our cause, belief in the job that we do or the business that we do, whatever action that we are involved in. We should have faith in that action, faith in ourselves, faith in others, faith in the entire system that we work in. And the third attribute that this mantra mentions is Upanishad or deep thinking. So we should be able to reason and reflect and ponder upon things, question and seek answers. So let me just talk about these three attributes in detail now. So before I talk about these attributes, let's just briefly discuss this concept of efficiency. So the mantra says if you do any action with these three things in them, that is vidya, shraddha, and Upanishad, that is, if you have the know-how, if you have faith in yourself and others, and if you think deeply, then you will become supremely efficient. So what's efficiency? Let me get the dictionary definition of what efficient means. So the first meaning, according to the American Heritage Dictionary, is this: acting or producing effectively with a minimum of waste, expense, or unnecessary effort. Let me repeat that. Acting or producing effectively with a minimum of waste, expense, or unnecessary effort. So most of us have jobs or we are involved in business. So we want to make sure that we act efficiently. That is, we want to have a minimum of waste. We want to make sure that what we do is done with minimum expenses and with the least amount of effort being wasted. So I think this mantra is applicable to most of us, and especially for people who work, who are employed. So let me just discuss each of these attributes in more detail, and then I'll end this video. So the first attribute is vidya, or the know-how. So the knowledge and skill required to do something correctly. There is a theoretical knowledge to do any job well. So these theoretical ideas we get from books, from attending seminars, listening to people who are already good at what they do. Through the newspaper, we get some theoretical understanding of our field. Through journals and magazines related to our field. So there are a lot of resources of acquiring the theoretical know-how of our field, and we should do that. If we want to be supremely efficient, if that is our goal, if we want every action that we initiate or commence or begin to be supremely efficient, then we should definitely have the know-how for that job or task. And there's also there's something else. Other than theoretical know-how, we also have a practical know-how. There are certain things that cannot be learned from books, or they cannot be learned by listening to others or watching someone do that. We will have to do the job in order to do the job well. So there is something called on-the-job training and on-the-job learning. So there is a know-how that comes only through practice. So unless we do that job using our theoretical understanding, we won't be able to really become supremely efficient in it. Because most of the times we may have the theoretical understanding of a task. We may have a theoretical know-how of a job or a task, but when we start doing that job, we realize that the theoretical understanding isn't enough really to, to let our minds and body, work together to attain a particular objective. So there is no alternative to on the job training or practical know-how. You will have to do a job or a task to do it better. So let me move on to the next attribute that this mantra mentions, and that is shraddha, or faith. Swami Vivekananda used to emphasize this concept again and again. I think he used to give the example of the boy Nachiketa from the Upanishad. So he wanted every Indian child to have a faith similar to that of Nachiketa, full of belief in. He was full of faith and belief in himself, because he actually confronted Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, and and did not give in to his to his attempts to turn away the kid from knowing about the secrets of death. So we all need to have a lot of faith in ourselves. Anyhow, without digressing, let me talk about faith, why it's important. So what's faith? Faith is belief in oneself, belief in others, belief in our organization, belief in our cause for which we are working, belief in our job, belief in our business, belief that the system that we are working in is a good system, and that it rewards hard work, and it rewards good work, it rewards efficient work. So we need to have this kind of faith. I think faith is at the basis of spiritual power as well. So when you have faith, you also access the spiritual power that can help you access strength from spiritual sources as well. The third thing that this mantra mentions is Upanishad, that is deep thinking. So whatever task we do, we need to think how we can do it in a better way. We need to think about the consequences of what we are trying to do. We need to be able to think about the resources we have to complete the task. Will the resources that we have be sufficient to complete that task or not? Will we be able to complete the task by the promised deadline or not. So all this reflection and thinking and pondering and questioning and seeking answers, all these are needed to do a job well, to do it supremely efficiently. Questioning is important because when you question, you try to look at things from a new perspective and from your own perspective as well. You just don't do a job in a way that has that people have been doing for a long time. You try to bring your own perspective to it, and sometimes you find a better way of doing a job. So deep thinking is definitely needed. So we need to question and we need to seek answers. We need to find ways of doing a job better than we have been doing in the past. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope I was able to unpack the message of this mantra for you in modern terminology and in modern context. So I thank you for watching this video. Thanks a lot.